hugely entertaining final session of play at the Adelaide Oval, courtesy Cheteshwar Pujara, who took on a gear that we've seen before once he's batting with the tail to make sure India end day one remarkably not bowled out. Pujara himself run out as stumps were called after 87.5 overs, with India touching 250. Who would have thought after they were 56 for 4 at lunch? Pat Cummins, Josh Hazlewood, Nathan Lyon, Mitchell Starc, all among the wickets. But Cheteshwar Pujara stands head and shoulders above the rest of the Indian batting. 77 of 105 in that final session of play, and in an innings that eventually ends 123 in twice as many balls. On ESPN Cricket for Matchday with me, VVS Lakshman knows all about the satisfaction of a first ever 100 in Australia. Ajit Agarkar and Brad Hodge as well. That is a special Cheteshwar Pujara innings if there ever was.
And one of his favourite innings, if I may say, because the conditions were not as tough as probably what he must have faced before in his career, but the situation was very tough, and that's what you expect from an experienced player like Pujara. And what I really like was the way he accelerated. The moment Rohit Sharma got out and Rishabh Pant got out, and then the partnership with Ravichandran Ashwin after tea. And then once the tailenders came in, he took the owners, he took a lot of strike, and he was looking for boundaries. Very rare I've seen Cheteshwar Pujara played that kind of aggressive knock with the tailenders. And somehow I felt that Tim Paine also was very defensive, because how many times have you seen Pujara attack when the field is up? You know, you don't give easy singles to a player like Pujara, and that's where I thought Tim Paine did a mistake.
What's his most impressive quality, Cheteshwar Pujara? He's batted an entire day, he's pushed gears when you needed him. We've seen this kind of innings before, but what's his most impressive quality?
I think just resilience, maybe. Just, no, I mean, that's the gear he bats, you know, that's the way he approaches every innings that he faces. It doesn't matter what's happening at the other end. Just bats in his own way, which is how you should, which is a good thing for India, because around him, everyone is a shot maker. Everyone, I mean, played some really poor shots today, but everyone scores very quickly, doesn't let him phase, and eventually can accelerate the way we've seen him. And, you know, like Lakshman said, maybe Australians were a bit tired, a bit defensive towards the end, or over defensive, but can't take anything away from what he's done throughout the day.
He creates that for himself, though. It's one thing to say Australia might be tired or defensive, but he tires them down.
Yeah, and that's how batting is supposed to happen in Australia, especially with the past experience. The first half an hour to 1 hour is very crucial, and as the ball gets hold, I think it gets easier to bat, and that's something which is really important to see. You know, how many runs did he score through the mid-off region and through the cover region? It was very evident that the Australian fast bowlers were looking to induce that bad shot, you know, the outside edge, and they were looking to pitch the ball up, and anything which was pitched up, it was rock solid, like we know Pujara can be. And whenever the ball was short and wide, he played square of the wickets. And this is the first time where I saw him play the uppercut, which went for a 6, and also consistently play the pull shot. That also shows that he's prepared really hard for this tour, because when you know that you're going to Australia, the majority of the shots will be square of the wicket, and it's not very easy for the number 3 batsman or the opening batsman to play the cover drive at the start of their innings. So he's prepared well, and that's why he's reaping the benefits.
And just 14 runs through that cover and mid-off region. He took away the drive that 3 or 4 of his top order colleagues were guilty of.
Yeah, and smart enough as well. I mean, that looked like on this good pitch, okay, unless the ball really reverse swung and something crashed into his stumps or LBW if the bowlers were bowling at. And lots of runs behind square of Nathan Lyon as well. You know, Nathan Lyon's bowled really well throughout the course of the day, but you know, he trusted his defense, used his feet, maybe used the depth of the crease as well at times, but just patience. You know, he's shown to the other batsmen how you approach innings on the first day of the test match. Hopefully some of them take some lessons from that.
Okay, now this is his first 100 in Australia, and there are question marks on Cheteshwar Pujara. There were question marks after 2014 in England. We thought, is this man going to have it in him to succeed beyond the subcontinent and whatnot? We'll throw some numbers out for you. Outside Asia, the record in comparison, it's getting significantly better. 38.38 the average is overall test average, courtesy this innings is back above 50, in case you care about those things when you look at player profiles, but it's a significant improvement. Let me go to Brad Hodge now, who's seen a Cheteshwar Pujara 100, a first in Australia for Pujara, and at 250 for 9, has he somewhat changed the balance of this day, or would Australia still take 250 for 9 at the start of the day if you gave it to them after losing the toss, Haji?
Yeah, I think that Australia are probably well on top after day one. The Pujara innings was one of an outstanding quality. I think that when you win the toss and you bat, you probably don't want to lose any more than 5 or 6 wickets on day one. And I think Australia will be very comfortable, having India 9 to 250. There was an opportunity to bowl them out for less than 200, but I thought the partnership between Ashwin, who anchored with, was outstanding. That persisted, and as VVS said, that some of the shots that Pujara played late in the day, square of the wicket, were ones of good courage and one of good preparation as well. So it was an outstanding innings, and for him to get a century in the first innings of the big series will be wonders for his confidence.
Would you agree, though, in the comments that VVS and Ajit are making, that somewhere Tim Payne allowed that to drift a little towards the end of that last session, made it a little easy for Pujara to bat with the tail?
Yeah, I did actually. I asked Glenn McGrath about, what the tactics were and how they were trying to get him out. And, not once did he, during the course of his innings, take the ball over the top infield. And it just allowed him to manipulate the ball where he wanted it to, which is, a good craftsmanship of batting, but probably a missed opportunity from the Australian bowling to actually keep those clamps on and force him to play over the shot, over the top. It's not easy to hit Stark Hazelwood over the infield, but especially Pujara, I thought he dictated well, hit the ball into the gap, supported by Ashwin with Shami at the end, and also catch up.
Yeah, okay. Can it happen at times that you've done the hard work, you think you're almost there, and as bowlers then you expect the 8th, 9th, 10th wicket to just fall, or was it just a reflection of how it got easier to bat in this pitch?
No, it was, but I was a second new ball. I mean, Stark still got a lot of swing with that second new ball as well. Some things you couldn't understand because like Brad said, you didn't know where they were trying to get him out. Sometimes the ball was a bit full, sometimes it was short. There was field all over the place. So maybe they let him get away a little bit, but I think credit to him. I think by then he was seeing the ball so well. Even if they put the right fields, he might have still hit them. So don't take anything away from him.
I didn't know he could play some of those shots.
He must have practiced that. And
that's all just practice, right?
It boils down to practice. It boils down to preparation. And someone like Pujara, right from the first day I saw him, he was very astute as far as his practice is concerned. And I think that's the reason why his performances. We saw the graphic where 2014 to 16 he was very one-dimensional, planting his front foot forward, didn't have a back foot play. Now he's realized that if he has to be successful overseas, he has to increase the repertoire of strokes. And that's something which we saw in England. We saw again in today's batting display. How many times will you see Pujara on the back foot playing square of the wicket? I've never ever seen that before. And we're talking about test match cricket, and then playing the pull shot, because he was always someone who used to use the depth of the crease and look to play for a single or rotate the strike, but never ever play the pull shot or the hook shot. So that means with practice, that's what you expect from experienced players. However experienced you are, you always keep on improving, working hard on your game.
What it also told us is how good the pitch is.
Yes.
It's probably a lesson for India to be a lot more disciplined. As soon as Australia were not as disciplined as they have been through most of the day, there was runs for the taking.
And there's a time you thought that Ashwin partnership with Pujara was so easy, you didn't know where the wicket was coming from. The Pat Cummins.
Again, you showed the value of good lengths, a bit more patience, got one right. So it's a really good pitch, and like we've been saying all day, once you get that ball older, from say 20 overs to that till the second new ball comes, batting is good fun on that pitch.
Just last word on Pujara from you, Haji. You've done your fair share of coaching. Now, if VVS says he's practiced this shot, might be hard for a player who only plays the longer formats. He doesn't quite have white ball cricket or 2020 cricket at his disposal to try and work on shots like this, uppercuts and whatnot to world-class fast bowlers. It makes it that much harder?
Well, I think it does make it difficult, for sure. I mean, the modern day cricketer where they move from T20 to one day cricket, test match cricket, we probably expect give them a little bit of latitude, I suppose. But someone who averages 50 test match cricket, which is Pujara, understands his game and he's really worked it out that, look, in those early periods of my life, I struggled to adapt overseas. And I think maybe the dialogue with him, senior players, and now that he's become a senior player, he can talk to the likes of Murali Vijay, talk to Virat, and, explain to him or ask the legends of the game, how were you guys successful when you went to Australia? And they will clearly say, as Vic just said, that you have to be able to play off the back of the shoot. and he's displayed that with perfection today. And he's just able to adapt his game to Test match cricket, hone his game as number 3 for India without any concept of white ball cricket. He's done a fantastic job for his country.
Okay, was brilliant Pujara, and I must congratulate VVS Lakshman, Ajit Agarkar and Brad Hodge for not picking him in their Fab 4. That's just how it's been for them. We started this game at the start of the day where they picked their 4 players, and depending on how they perform on the day, they get some points. And if they got 100, there'd be bonus points and whatnot. So none of these 3 fine gentlemen picked them. We'll have a look at the leaderboard as it stands at the end of day 1. And it looks like Ajit Agarkar's points have been calculated and ready. Murli Vijay got 11, Rahane 13. Nathan Lyon with 2 wickets in the second session takes it to 40. And Josh Hazlewood also 40. So you've crossed the 100 mark, Mr. Agarkar. So Adelaide is once again a successful ground for you with points this time. So 104 points. Let's see where VVS Lakshman and Brad Hodge stand as we go to the next one. They did pick some similar players. VVS also picked Vijay. Kohli got him only 3 points. You would have put good money on Kohli getting more than that in the first day. Mitchell Stark with 20 and Josh Hazlewood with 42 wickets to Hazlewood. So 94 points for VVS. So Ajit very much in the lead. And for the Australian who picked 3 Indians on a day when India didn't get it right with their batting in the top order, Pujara was not amongst those 3 Indians. Rohit Sharma happened to get Brad Hodge a few points, but we'll just have a quick look along with Josh Hazlewood as to what Brad Hodge's final tally turns out to be. 40 points for Hazlewood, 37 for Rohit Sharma, and 14 between Kohli and Vijay. That takes Hodge's tally to 91 points. Now, as a result of that, we are going to give them the opportunity to pick their 4 for tomorrow, knowing the context of the game, 250 for 9. So I'm going to let you pick first.
Who's bowling that last ball? Who's bowling the first ball tomorrow?
So it's 5 balls bowled of this over. Yeah. So you're assuming that if it happens in one game, it'll be Josh Hazlewood who starts.
Yeah, well, I've got to pick a couple of Aussie batsmen, isn't it? It's such a good batting pair. I'm going to go for Finch.
Are you? Okay.
And Sean Marsh.
Oh God!
Finch and Sean Marsh. So you think they're going to run through Usman Khwaja? Very well.
I did forget Khwaja actually.
Thanks.
No, you can't change it. You can't give me 2. You can make 2 more. You can make 4 Aussie batsmen.
I'll do a
Don't
Brad
give
Hodge
clues,
tomorrow.
please.
And Khwaja as well.
You want to make Khwaja as well? All right, Khwaja as well. And you need to give me 1 more. Indian fast bowlers not giving any fast
tough
bowler.
to pick between Bumrah and Shami.
So are you on his side? Looks like.
I'm picking Shami.
Shami over Bumrah.
Okay.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, VVS.
Okay, for me it's Bumrah, Ashwin.
VVS
The 4
carries the
left-handers.
tricolour here. Bumrah,
Ashwin. Okay, I'll have Usman
Khwaja.
and Sean Marsh.
Okay, and Marsh. So
Sorry, no Finch, no Harris.
That's nice. That's nice. Let's go to Brad Hodge. Hodgie, what have you got for us for tomorrow?
Don't pick the Victorians, please.
The players. I'll go with a couple of bowlers. I'll go with Bumrah and Ashwin.
Got the tricolour.
He's going with
I'll
Bumrah.
also pick,
Ashwin. Okay.
I'll go Marcus Harris in his first Test match and Peter Handscomb.
Marcus Harris, Peter Handscomb. So Hodgie is he's playing smart. He's playing the ones that you all are not going for. So it could go either way for him. Right. As we close things and wrap things up at the end of day 1, VVS, what kind of score is 250 for 9? Do India go into the dressing room happy or still disappointed? Way. Not happy.
No, Australia will be disappointed. India will definitely not be happy. I mean, they will be very thankful to Pujara and for his grit and determination, for his effort to at least reach a score which can be a fighting score. But this was a 400 plus wicket to especially winning the toss and batting first. But I think the task is cut out once again for the bowlers. If India has to come back into this game, it's the bowlers who have to really do well and pull back India into this game.
Is it still can it be made into a fighting score, 250, 270, or it's really tough for India's
I think it could be.
bowlers?
I mean, we don't quite know how Australia is going to bat. You expect them to bat better than they did in the UAE. But you don't quite know with this Australian batting lineup. New ball's obviously going to be critical. If they can prize out at least a couple of wickets, then puts that much more pressure on that middle order. But yeah, at this point, between the two teams, Australia will be the happy one.
Okay, now there's more to Adelaide than just the beautiful Adelaide Oval. It's supposed to be the culinary capital of Australia for certain. Sean Tate and Shivani Dandekar are our two lieutenants in charge of seeing what they could find in this fine city. This is, of course, part of ESPN Cricket for Undiscovered Australia, presented by Tourism Australia.
This morning I'm meeting Mark Gleeson and Sean Tate at the Adelaide Central Market, which is the mecca for food here in Australia. It's been here for about 150 years. We've got 100 artisan food stalls and it's all family operated. I cannot wait to have breakfast here. Let's go meet the lads.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Thank you.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Adelaide Central Market.
Yep, that's it.
Coffee, breakfast?
Yeah, let's have a coffee.
Yeah, let's do that. We hear you have the best coffee in the market. Okay, great. We would love one. I'd like I'm so confused. So you're so used to saying Americano, but now I'm back in Australia, so I have to say a long black, please. Yes, thank you.
I want to have a flat white.
And I'll have the same for
This takes me back to my childhood. I think the last time I had one of these was when I was 13. I used to eat them in school, and it's basically Cocoa Pops with lots of Belgian chocolate. What is there to say? It's chocolate and strawberries. It's the best thing in the world, right?
It is.
Best breakfast in the world. Thank you. Vegemite is a yeast extract, lots of vitamin B. If you eat Vegemite on toast and you wash it down with a glass of orange juice, the vitamin C pushes the vitamin B into your blood faster. Bet you didn't know that, boys.
I did not know that.
Learn something new every day. You are welcome. And I hope I'm right, because if I'm not, I'm going to look like a fool. I want you to bowl an apple.
You break it, you buy it. Oh, lovely.
I've never had kangaroo in my life.
You're about to.
I'm going to get a small piece.
It's good.
Tastes like pastrami.
It's fine.
Oh, yum. Good.
We're now going to try something completely wild. These are wild
That's all.
green ants.
What?
Yeah. The brown bit is the legs.
Just grab it. Go and get it.
Oh, it's tangy.
With a nice little bit of brown leg thrown in.
That's not bad. Ants, anybody? Is he heavy?
You got a kiss on the lips. Mark, thank you very much. That was brilliant. Brilliant.
Lovely to meet you. Well, that was an eye-opener, but what an incredible experience. Tomorrow, Sean's taking us for a road trip.
You could not get Sean Tate to move, no matter what you tried, and you couldn't get him to talk either. He was enjoying everything that Shivani had put out on the table for him. Brad Hodge, Adelaide, the culinary capital of Australia?
I'm not sure about that. I would have thought that Melbourne's the culinary capital of Australia, but
I know
I
that
guess it's known here for
you've joined
spicy.
Shivani across Melbourne, and there are some steps, some dance steps that she's subjected you to, which I need a rather strict explanation of when we actually see it. So we'll get to that when we see it. But you can catch more of ESPN Cricket for Undiscovered Australia on the site. Let's take a couple of questions that you've sent in for the panel before we wrap things up with the boys on day one of this Adelaide Test. This one comes from Jiten Chandrana on our Facebook Live Matchday feed. Will Ashwin be as effective as Lyon on this track? Lyon consistently troubled the batsman with the bounce he generated. Right, who wants to take this? Ajit?
India would be hoping he is. I mean, there's no reason why he can't be. I mean, with the kind of experience that he has, he just mentioned somewhere recently that Kookaburra is his favourite ball as well. So, India would desperately want him. India's playing a 4-man attack as well. I think if he bowls as well as Lyon, then he will trouble the Aussie batsmen.
We did see some turn, even on day one. We saw Lyon get some turn, didn't we?
Yeah, also the reason for that is the number of reps Lyon extracts. Overspin he extracts on the ball, and that's something which Ashwin has to do because he has to be patient at the same time because it's hot. Today it was 39 to 40 degrees. So India have to rely on the fast bowlers to pick up wickets, but with 4 left-handers in their top 6, I think Ashwin, you expect him to get wickets and at the same time control the run flow.
Okay, we've got one more question. Let's pick that for Brad Hodge and VVS Lakshman and Ajit Agarkar. Keep sending your questions in as you use the hashtag matchday. You can put it on our live Facebook feed. Why was Vihari not picked ahead of Rahul? And what about shot selection? Don't you think India needs a sports psychologist while travelling abroad? Tarun Chabra saying that because it's about mental strength and whatnot, they might need a sports psychologist to travel with them.
I think it's not a bad idea because with the high pressure every player goes through, the expectation they have from themselves and the entire fans have on them. I think having a sports psychologist, having a mental conditioner will definitely help. It definitely helped me. When someone like Paddy Apton was traveling, I know Sandy Gordon worked with us in 2003-04 series, but ultimately it boils down to you. Because when you're out there in the middle, when you're playing international sport, when you're representing your country, you're expected to be mentally tough. But as far as KL Rahul is concerned, I'm just worried for him because at the moment he's not sure of his game. He's still very, very low in confidence because you don't expect that from a quality player like KL Rahul to play in that fashion, keeping in mind that he didn't have a great England series. Yes, he got 100 in the last test match, but also he didn't score well against West Indies. You expect him to be mentally ready come the first day, first session of the test series because this is an important test series. The responsibility is on the openers and you expect the discipline which Pujara showed throughout the innings from KL Rahul. So he'll be really disappointed, not just by getting out, but the shot he played to get out. And that's something which I'm hoping that he will come out. As far as Vihari is concerned, Vihari is a middle order batsman, where KL Rahul is an opening batsman. I don't want Vihari to open for Team India. I want him to stick to middle order.
Okay, we won't put it past some surprises this team might offer, but no, we'll stick to just the positions that they've been picked for. Just before we wrap things up, one fun thing that I will do with VVS, Ajit and Brad is we're getting a lot of questions on which was actually the worst shot played. Today, what was the worst shot played in the time? So I'm going to ask you to rate who gave it away the cheapest or the worst. Now you got Vijay, Rahul, Kohli, Rahane, Rohit, all frustratingly giving it away. Can you pick one ahead of the other?
I mean, how can you rate terrible shots? It's hard. I mean, they were all bad shots in the circumstances, but I think the most disappointing. Well, I'm sure all of them are disappointed with the shots that they played, but I think for me, Rohit Sharma, after getting to 30 odd, looking comfortable, the ball was a bit older. I think he'd be the most disappointed. Someone who's been picked ahead of a guy who got 50 in the last innings that he's played, Vihari. Because the team's trusted his ability to play in Australia, got a good start, he'll be very disappointed to throw it away the way he did.
Yes?
Yeah, same. I agree with Ajit, for 2 reasons. One is making a comeback into the test team, and he had a fantastic opportunity. He got a start. He hit a couple of beautiful sixes off the fast bowler. He almost got out the previous delivery. You don't expect an experienced international player like Rohit Sharma to repeat the mistake the following delivery. So he'll be really disappointed because the stage was set for him to get 100. And imagine Rohit getting a big score, Pujara getting 100, India would have been close to 300, which is a remarkable comeback. So he'll be really disappointed with that shot he played.
Okay, Brad, I wonder if you're going harder on some of the top order batsmen with the way they got out. Are you picking the most awful shot or awful dismissal of today?
I think for me the worst shot that was played today was Rishabh Pant trying to hit Patrick Cummins from Adelaide.
That's a good one actually. He didn't get out though.
I think just the point of the stage of the game, it just came out of nowhere and just wasn't warranted. And just such a radical shot for Test match cricket.
Oh God! Look at you guys going after Rishabh Pant and Rohit
we-
Sharma on his comeback. Go after the top order. But okay, I'll
Yeah,
leave
like
it.
I said, I mean,
Leave it
they'd all be disappointed.
Youth
The first
selection.
5 guys
Yeah.
in particular will be very disappointed with the shots they've played.
Very well, and I think there's genuinely more disappointed VVS, Ajit and Brad because they had these guys in their Fab 4 and they didn't get them to as many runs as they would have liked. Let's have a quick look at that leaderboard. This is a game that we're going to play through the course of this Australia-India Test series on ESPN Cricket for Match Day, where they pick their Fab 4 and depending on how the 4 play on the day across teams, they will get some extra points. Now,
I'm not sure who the
VVS
scorer is.
Lakshman
What,
has
he
got
gets bonus
bonus
travelling
points.
from Hyderabad,
Yes.
is it?
No. VVS has got bonus points for Mitchell Stark, I believe, who has picked up what? Has he got 3 today? Two wickets, and you get bonus points for the best strike rate of the day. So that's
Thank you.
That's it.
Age before beauty. Yeah.
So well done, VVS takes the honours on day 1. If you want to know the rules again, we'll put it out for you for Ajit Agarkar also to watch. Each run by the player gets you a point, 50 runs to 10 bonus points, 100 gets you 20. Wicket gets you 20 points as well. 3 wickets and 5 wicket hauls get bonus points, and the bowler with the best strike rate for the day gets 20 more bonus points. VVS had the calculation spot on, and he's managed to take a backdoor lead at the end of the day. Each catch, direct hit, run out also gets you some points. So Paddy Cummins would have got you some points had anyone gone for him. All points are for the particular day, nothing carries forward. So it all starts afresh for Brad Hodge as well. Let's confirm the picks that they've made for tomorrow. They've just made it today because we're going to join you at 7:30 tomorrow for the first show, which is the lunch show if you're watching in India. Mohammad Shami, Aaron Finch, Usman Khwaja, Sean Marsh. So 3 batters and just 1 Indian fast bowler for Ajit Agarkar. You sure about that, right? I mean, you can't change it now, but
Yeah, you know the new rule about the strike rate.
Mohammad Shami better get the best strike rate of the
Might
day.
get a
otherwise-
6 for tomorrow.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Well, in a way, Mohammad Shami could get you about 10-15 points.
could still
just
get me some
with the
runs,
bat. Yeah. That's a clever pick. Okay. VVS Lakshman's Fab 4 for tomorrow. He's taken the honours on day 1. And if Ashwin bowls as well as Lyon and Bumrah bowls as well too, then he could take it on day 2. Khwaja and Sean Marsh also VVS's picks. Now you picked Ashwin and Bumrah because you said there are left-handers,
Yeah.
and you picked 2 left-handers as well. So
Doesn't matter.
you're
Both
covered
of them-
bases.
see, in this batting lineup,
Yeah.
I expect these 2 guys who are experienced, who are informed to
Yeah.
score runs.
Okay.
If Finch, Harris, the others get runs, then I'll be surprised.
All right.
I'm not sure Orji will be surprised, but
Yeah.
I'll definitely be surprised.
Brad Hodge has gone for, I'm liking that Hodge takes these slightly left field selections. Peter Hanscom finds his way.
He's
in
the
Brad
Victorian
Hodge's Fab
captain.
4.
Peter Hanscom.
And he's backing Marcus Harris, Ashwin